What's up, guys? Welcome to First and 10 with Degen. Yeah, it's a little bit early because you see that damn schedule right there above me? The big guy's busy on Fridays. I got a lot of shit. I still got to go do my showdown hoedown for golf. I still got to do NFL week-long preview with my dude John Gold JD. And, of course, I got to get like my own college football lineups ready for tonight because there's a nice little 5-game slate. But this is for the main slate for Saturday. What is that? October 1st, tomorrow, you motherfathers. So here you go. This is a video going over DFS and a couple bets. I'm glad some of you guys found me. Welcome, new guy. Hopefully you found me too. We fixed the title, so now people found me and realize that I know what I'm doing. If you don't know, I'm the Degenerate 75. I'm a high-limit DFS player who focuses exclusively even on football and golf. That's what I do. I have been killing college football largely through cash. I'm a big believer that there's just not a lot of sharps out there chasing cash at college football DFS, so that's what we do. Hopefully you live in a state where this shit's legal, because I'm telling you, there's not a lot of easy money left out there in DFS. It has gotten sharp. There's an entire industry built around it, so I'm still trying to just go pick around the corners and get the last little soft spots that are left, because the big guys got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills. This hat wasn't cheap, motherfather. Neither was this mic. So there you go. That's what we do. Go give me a follow on Twitter. You see that? Degenerate75. I think I'm like going to pass 3,000 today. What the fuck? What the fuck is life that I have 3,000 followers? Yeah, and maybe go like and subscribe to this YouTube channel because we just passed 1,500. Shit's on fire. I don't know what to say. Appreciate you, motherfather. I hope you enjoy my shit. You can see on the schedule up here, very busy. This is the only college football show I do, but if you're into NFL, I do a week-long preview on Tuesday, final thoughts on Saturday. We do Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football, the Showdown Hoedown, the founder of the Showdown Hoedown. And, of course, I do golf on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So that's it. Let's get going, man. Got a lot of shit to do. Got to keep this brief because I got to go fucking cash my cash lineups tonight. Here are the games for tomorrow. Hit another 4-2 last week, so we're up to what? We're up on the season, like 14-12. But been hitting our big games. Tomorrow, just a couple games I like that I will be betting. I don't give a shit if you follow along, but some people like to follow along with my bet. So here's what I'm betting. I will be betting University of Kentucky to cover 7 against Ole Miss. Why? Because I think Kentucky's legit. That's the answer. And I don't think Ole Miss's quarterbacks have that shit figured out. So there you go. Oklahoma State versus Baylor. Well, I just have a sneaking suspicion that Oklahoma State, they tend to win games they shouldn't, and they tend to lose games they shouldn't. This is going to be one of those ones they win they shouldn't. And I'm Oklahoma State alumni, so call me fucking biased if you want to. Kansas, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. I'm a believer. I believe in Kansas. And I don't think Iowa State is the same Iowa State they've been for the past few years. I think Kansas is going to win. And the fact that they're underdogs at home to a very average Iowa State team, I'll take Kansas. Fuck you. I'll take them. Florida State against Wake Forest. This is just one of those games I love to bet based off of just a team being in a tough spot. Wake Forest lost a very deflating loss last week to Clemson. They had that game about 7 different times, and they managed to choke it away and lose it. And I'm telling you, games like that deflate your soul, and now you got to go into Tallahassee where they're going to be going fucking wild in there. Their team is actually decent. They have good quarterback play. I think Florida State's going to roll them up, chew them up, spit them out. That's what I think. And then I'll bet Mississippi State just largely because I think Texas A&M sucks. I just maybe that's bias. I just think they're not that good. And Mississippi State with the old pirate coach, I feel like they get it done. If you want me to be honest, I don't actually have like a favorite game this week. I kind of like all 5 of these, but there's just not a game I love this week. And I am 4-1 in games that I love, so I'm kind of particular about picking them. So there's my bets for the week. Follow them. Don't follow them. I don't give a shit what you do, brother. But you know what I do give a shit about? You not donking off money on DraftKings, okay? You need to know this, new guy, okay? Because this is I'm not a tout. You got to know that about me. I'm not going to give you a single pick today, and you're still going to watch my video, and you're still going to like it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to give you a couple pointers on how to not be such a loser at DFS. And the main thing it starts with is good contest selection, right? Like a good, for instance, the 333 tomorrow. I know you're probably not going to play in the $333 tournament. That's pretty rich for most people's blood. I can afford to play in this tournament. And you know what I say to this tournament? Fuck you, tournament. That's what I say to this GPP. Get the hell out of here. Here's a good rule of thumb, man. When you see a contest has a $150,000 prize pool and a third of it goes to first, just say this. Just say, see you bye. See you bye. I'm out of here. Don't play in it. It's garbage. When you do that, you're a negative EV right there off the bat. So now you got to go pick the nuts lineup and hope it performs like the nuts just to expect to win. It's a losing play in the long run. Even this big $15, yeah, will I throw a couple in it? Yeah, because it's good for the brand. But I'm not that excited about it. 25% goes to first, and then look, 10th place, $500. That's 1/100th of first. Get the hell out of here. You're lucky once every 2 years if you put a lineup in the top 10 in this thing, and you're gonna get $500 back. I mean, I know you're thinking, well, $500 a lot of money. Not if you're putting 10 or 15 lineups in this every week. That's like 2 weeks worth of lineups. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here with that. Don't do it, brother. You want the good contest to go playing tomorrow? Go check out this 20 max $4 tournament. Solid payout structure, right? $80, you can max enter it. Nobody's entering more lineups than you. Go check out this $44. Nice. Only 20% goes to first. 10th place is, what is that? 12.5% of first. Or excuse me, 8% of first, so that's very close. That's 1 out of every 12.5 is what I'm trying to say. I am good at math, believe it or not. The $6 tournament, the $1 tournament, $100 single entry, $12 single entry, $5 single entry. That's where you play. That is where you first start to take the losing out of DFS. It's just picking contests that are more friendly to you. That's the first place you do it, brother. So go do that. Go do that, man. And make wise decisions. And here's the biggest thing I could tell you. Fucking play cash, man. Play cash, double ups, 50-50s. Play head-to-heads all you can, because college football, there is a lot of dumbasses out there who are just like, I got a feeling about this one. I don't get the fuck out of here with your feelings. Just go. Basically, all you got to do is just go play guys that get high volume, high targets, high touches in games with high totals, and you can cash. I mean, I'll just go off so far this year, I'm 6 of 8. I posted every Saturday on Twitter, right? So I'm 6 of 8 so far in cash this year, and I won the last 3 weeks in a row. So just killing it. And like, it's not like, ooh, I know the future. It's no magic shit like that. I'm just playing the odds. And when you play the odds and most people are dumbasses that you're against, you're going to get there a lot of the time. That's all it is. It's a simple game. So that would be my other piece of advice. Dedicate a large portion of your college football bankroll tomorrow to cash. There you go, brother. Hey, while you're here, make sure to go like and sub, because you can't help but notice there's no ads on here. You're not going pew, pew, pew and turning off all those ads, are you? No, because I'm not a fucking poor. So I don't put any ads on this. And all I ask in return is you give the big guy a like and a subscribe. That's all you got to do. It's a pretty sweet deal. Maybe tell a friend. That wouldn't hurt me either, right? Okay, let's get over here and let's check out this. So this is what I call the Rosetta Stone, right? Yeah, you may think that's cheesy, but just so you know, college football is a lot to digest, right? There's so many teams, so many players, so many lines. It's like, it's not like the NFL where everything's very finite. It almost seems like there's an infinite number of teams and players at college football, and they're rotating them out every week. So it's like you got to relearn the slate every week, and it is overwhelming to the normal person with a normal life. I just sit here on my fucking computer all day and make YouTube videos and look up DFS shit. This is my life. So it's easy for me, but I know you are probably a normal person that works and makes a difference in this world. And so you don't have time to go do all this research. So what I do with the Rosetta Stone is I go break down the games. I give everybody in my Discord the games they should play, the players they should play, if they should consider them for cash, high upside, GPPs, all of that, right? If you want to see what that looks like, here's the one from last week. This is the one I gave them, right? And by the way, it did very well, right? I was like, just make sure you go play Hooker at cash, right? And then you go look and you say, oh, Hooker, yeah, cash, definitely need to play him, right? Go play Brock at cash. Definitely got to play him, right? And then I tell them how owned they're going to be. What's the good games to target? All that. That's what we do. That's what I do. If you're interested in that, it's right here. It's over on the Patreon, which is connected in the thing. We're like, I think we'll be at 300 members probably within a week. So come check it out, or don't. I don't give a fuck. Stay here for the free shit. It's cool too, man. But if you're just here for the free stuff, you get this one that's not all color-coded and stuff. But I was nice enough to go ahead and put their targets, total plays, all that on there for you, and give you an idea of some guys you could target in these games, right? So the first thing we always want to look at is totals, but not just total, like the highest totals, right? Like you could look at a game with a really high total and think, that's the game I'm going to play. But if it's like Bama versus Arkansas, yes, that has a very high total, but I don't think that's a great game for you to be stacking, especially in GPPs. Why, you ask? Great question. New guy. I like the cut of your jib, brother. This is why. Because there's a decent chance, I would say at least a 50% chance that Alabama beats the brakes off of Arkansas tomorrow, right? And if they do, Alabama's pulling their guys halfway through the third quarter. You need guys who are going to play all 4 quarters and are going to get pushed all 4 quarters. Not all 4 quarters like they're just like taking knees in the fourth quarter. I'm talking like they're still chunking the ball up and down the field. So like, what's a better example of a game with a high total that'll be competitive? Let's just go check out Boomer fucking Sooner right here, right? OU TCU's over-under is 68.5. That is a huge total. But more than that, the line's only 6.5. Vegas is saying it's going to be less than a touchdown game. So because of that, you have 2 teams that have who have demonstrated they have very good offenses this year. OU's defense I thought was good, but apparently is not. And you have 2 teams with high totals in a competitive script. These are the kind of games you want to attack in GPPs, because this game, there's probably only something like 10% that one of the teams blows out the other team, right? Whereas in that Alabama-Arkansas game, seeing I think it's like a 17 or 21-point spread, 17-point spread, you got to think at least half the time Bama just beats them up and the game's over, right? And then, which is great because a lot of the Bama guys will probably get their stats in a blowout. Problem is, for 9,900, you need Bryce Young to have 50-point upside. And if they're blowing him out and he's done halfway through the third quarter, he's never going to get to 50 points, right? Whereas like a guy like Dylan Gabriel, who is 9,300, he really could get to 50 points tomorrow if this game shoots out. If it really is 42-38, right? He really could get to 50 points. He runs just enough. He throws just enough. In a competitive game, he gets the yards he needs. He has that kind of upside to pay off that ridiculous that price tag of 9,300. So this is why we want to be targeting games that have high totals but also are competitive, right? And another thing to consider is always look at efficient offenses, right? You don't want to be playing teams that have horribly inefficient offenses. So, like, I look at this game right here, Kentucky and Ole Miss, and the relatively competitive game, 7-point line, decent total of, 54.5. That seems like a good game to target. But I'm telling you, Ole Miss's quarterbacks don't have it figured out this year, brother. They're bouncing back between Altmaier and Dart. And when you have an offense that is not clear that like you can be efficient at quarterback, I can't build a stack around you, right? So like right there, I'm automatically dismissing this game. And you want to know who Kentucky? I didn't even put their quarterback on here. He is such a bad play. I didn't even put him on my list of for my people to consider to play, right? He's not even a GPP. I just said don't play him. That's what I said. I think this one's kind of sneaky. Texas Tech and Kansas State. Kansas State, by the way, you should probably bet Texas Tech here. Kansas State in a total trap game right here. So Texas Tech just beat Texas. So actually, I guess they're kind of in a bad spot too. Big emotional win. But one of these teams is going to come out a little flat tomorrow, and the other one could put their foot on the gas and destroy the other team. So Kansas State, you got to love Deuce Vaughn at home in a favorable script here going against Tech. And Tech actually has some pretty nice run backs, affordable receivers. You got to imagine they're going to be in a script. And it doesn't really matter. It's Tech. They're going to be passing anyways. But even when they're behind, they're going to be passing even more and running more plays because they're probably going to be playing up tempo. Price and Bradley are both averaging 8 targets a game. You got to like that, right? Especially, and then you could run it back with a Deuce Vaughn, have a little mini correlation there if there's another game you really want to stack. All of OU stars are priced very fairly. Gabriel, Gray, and Mims. I probably could have put more on here, but I watch every OU play, and I'm just telling you, their usage is very concentrated. So even though the OU players, you got to pay up to get them, that is a really high total and a really competitive game, and their usage tends to be pretty concentrated, right? And so because of that, I feel like any of those OU players are pretty viable. And a Gabriel Mims stack makes a lot of sense, especially if you run it back with like Miller from TCU. Problem is, that's a lot of salary to be spending, so you better have some punts that you like. I even think Degen makes sense. I still don't know what to make about this OU defense, but if they're going to play like they did last week, Degen's going to have 498 points. Okay, here's a good rule of thumb. Here's a game you just fucking avoid like the plague. Michigan and Iowa. Okay, I put some Iowa guys on here just because they're so cheap. It's really easy for them to get there as a punt play. But, man, I ain't playing no Iowa players, and I don't think you should either. And if you're playing Michigan, like I guess Michigan could possibly run it up. But what's the most they're going to score here? 28 or something like that? And by the way, Corum's price tag is not 4,000. That's just my editor putting shit in wrong. I think he's like 6,700 or something like that, right? So he would be the one guy I would consider because he might break off some long runs as they're starting to put it away, much like they did last week. Another game that I don't really want to hold part of is this Purdue Minnesota game. I'll be the first to tell you, bro. I have a Big Ten bias. Anti-bias, that is. They're just games are slow and boring, and they don't shoot out very much. Purdue actually is kind of an up-paced team, but man, they're just not very efficient. And Jones, the wide receiver, they've priced him more than fairly at 6,400 because he averages 13 targets a game. But Jesus, they only got a 20-point total. Do you really want a wide receiver that you're paying good money for to be for a team that only has an implied total of 20? Yeah, I don't know, Bob. And then Ibrahim, he's been an animal. Dude's a man. But 9,500 at running back, I mean, he really has to get 30 points to pay off. I think he makes sense in a GPP build because he probably does have 40-point upside. But, man, to count on him to get you 30 points in a cash lineup, you do you, boo. That ain't for me, brother. Illinois, Wisconsin, once again, the Big Ten anti-bias continues. Look at those totals, man. 25 and 18. These, if you want to go sprinkle one guy in from these games, like maybe Brown or Allen, the running backs, I think that makes sense. But if you're stacking these games or trying to correlate multiple players across any of these last 3 Big Ten games I talked about, I just don't think you get it, bro. To win college football GPPs, you need big games with big upside, and I don't think any of these 3 teams offer that. Maybe a one-off of Ibrahim, Brown, or Allen might be the exception to that, or Corum. So maybe they're running backs because it's the Big Ten and they run the ball. Navy, Air Force, you can try to get cute, go play the fullbacks, the running backs, or the running quarterback Daniels. Just with that low a total, that few plays being ran, just stay the fuck away from it. Just right there, plus EV, just staying away from games like that. Go let 5 or 10% of people give up their lineup spots to people in this game and just piss away money. Just take advantage of that, right? Bama versus Arkansas. If Arkansas keeps this close, Alabama starts to become a smash play because their wide receivers, Brooks and Holden, are very fairly priced. McClellan, the backup running back, he is getting about a third of the carries. He could get that price tag easy. You got to like Gibbs and Young if this game stays competitive. If it blows out, I don't really see any of the Bama guys getting there. Maybe a receiver catches a long touchdown or 2 and he gets there, but I don't see anybody with 30-plus point upside. And if you've ever seen winning GPP lineups, almost everybody in the lineup has 30 points, right? Arkansas, Sanders is such a bell cow, but man, do you really want to be running a running back against Bama? I know this doesn't seem to be the Bama defense of the past few years, but if you are buying the narrative that Arkansas can keep it close, it is almost certainly that Jefferson and Sanders gets it done. And then I also put Landers, not Sanders, Landers. I put him on there as a cheap run back if you want to run a Bama stack. That's why I put him on there. I think Oklahoma State, Baylor has a really good defense. They're at home, but man, Oklahoma State's offense, when they get cooking, their guys are very fairly priced. Spencer Sanders is a dual threat quarterback who's already, easily cashed me week 1. At 6,500 is a crazy price. If you believe that Oklahoma State's going to score 28 points, you almost have to play Spencer Sanders because he will get there. He runs it so much. He passes it. He's if they score 4 touchdowns, he will certainly score 3 of them, either passing or running. Richardson, the running back, is a bell cow. He gets most of the touches. He catches the ball. He runs the ball, all the goal line work. He gets there if they score 28 points. And then Johnson is criminally underpriced. He is leading their teams in target, almost 9 targets a game at 4,300. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing, DraftKings? Baylor, the problem, you want to play Baylor, but their running backs are, even though they're cheap, Oklahoma State has a pretty good D-line. I do think Baylor's probably going to be in a script where they're going to be running a lot. So if they're going to be running a lot, you just got to ask yourself, is it worth it to play one of these guys that's probably going to be splitting carries? Although based on last week, it did seem like Reese was getting most of the work, so maybe go there. But I like this game. This is my sneaky shootout game for tomorrow, right? It's Iowa State-Kansas game. I'm just a believer that Kansas is real, and I think Daniels at 7,000 is a crazy good price. So I could definitely see Daniels getting there. He does it with his legs. He does it throwing. Problem is he's very hard to stack because he doesn't really have any receivers. I mean, you can go with Grimm, but even Grimm's not even averaging 5 targets a game. I love the Iowa State side. This Deckers guy at 5,800, he's a smash play, man. He's his team has a 31-point total. They're playing Kansas's defense, which isn't any good, and he has been passing. Look at that, 41 passes a game, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of throws. You could be very inefficient and still get there at 41 passes a game. Not to mention, he probably has the best. No, he definitely has the best wide receiver on the slate, and Xavier Hutchinson. Those two, that's a stack. You could run a Decker versus Daniels, quarterback versus Superflex, throw a Hutchinson in there and a Grimm, however you want to do it. Or just run Daniels and run it back with Brock, because that Brock guy got me there at cash again last week. That's an animal, bell cow, someone to look at. This one seems like it would be a really good game, right? This 64-point total, 7-point line between Wake and Florida State. But I'm just a little bit worried about Wake Forest coming out a little flat. If there's one piece of this game that I definitely want, I really like Travis and then pair him up with one of his cheap Wilson receivers. Okay, whatever Wilson you like. You can go Jay Wilson, or you can go O Wilson or OJ, or you can go OJ. You don't want to go OJ. Don't go OJ on people. That's bad news. Okay, rest in peace. Okay, Michigan State, Maryland. Here we go. Hate it. No. This is one of the. This is probably the Big Ten game I definitely like the most. Right? Maryland plays a lot of plays. They play very fast. I think Little Tua. I refuse to say his first name, mainly just because I don't fucking know how. Is a solid play. Problem is he's very hard to stack because he spreads the ball to all his receivers. It's very hard to get a guy that is a high usage player for him. Maybe the smarter play is just go play Himby. That guy is just on the field the whole game, and he just gets yards just by de facto because when you're on the field a lot, you get the ball a lot. Coleman for Michigan State is way too cheap. He should not be $4,200 for a guy that's getting 9 targets a game. Get the fuck out of here. So maybe you run a little Coleman Hemby stack. I don't know. You make your lineup however the hell you want. I'm giving you ideas. I'm just saying this one is a game you could attack, unlike all the other shitty Big Ten games. And then lastly, A&M. A&M has a 21-point total, which is horrific. And they play very slow. But the one good thing I can say about A&M is their players are very fairly priced. Achane and Stewart are very fairly priced, and they both tend to be usage monsters, right? So, they may not play a ton of plays in the game, and the score maybe not that high, but the few plays they do run, they're going to be giving the ball to those guys. So that makes them very viable, especially if you like a Mississippi State stack. You run it back with one of those guys, maybe even both of them. It could be sneaky. Maybe this game everybody's just thinking A&M has a great defense, but I'm telling you, the Pirate coach, he can get there, man. He can get there. These other 4 games, those are for FanDuel. I am still waiting to finish my FanDuel. I put it out a little bit later because, FanDuel doesn't put their contests out till later, so it takes me longer to get to it. So thanks a lot for that, FanDuel, you mother father. Once again, if you're interested in this thing right here, you want to see it all color-coded, you want a special customized video, I make way more content for all the people over on my Discord. Matter of fact, I'm about to go turn around and make them a special video for tonight's little 5-game slate and for the 13-game slate tomorrow. So there you go. That's what we do. Come check out all my other shit. As you can see, the big guy's busy with the schedule. Do lots of drawings to do Millie Maker tickets. Don't do it for college football, but for NFL and golf, I definitely do. So come check it out. Win $1 million with me. Well, you'll only win $500,000 because I'm only splitting it with you, motherfather. But you get to make the lineup with me, so that's pretty cool. I am so glad a lot of you guys are finally starting to find my channel. I will become the king of college football content because if you don't know, I was going to say I'm the best at it, but literally that's like being the tallest person at a midget convention. There's just nobody to fucking compete with. So I'll just win by default, right? So good luck tomorrow. If you have any questions, feel free you could shoot me a DM on Twitter. I try not to big dog anybody. I will respond as soon as I can, right? I get a lot of messages. So that is my promise to you. I hope you kick ass tomorrow. I hope to see you around, and I hope you enjoy my outro, you motherfather.